Somewhere long forgotten by everyone. It used to be a grand building. Now, no one comes here anymore. Nor does anyone care about what once happened here. It was before I became a Harbinger. And before Linny and the others joined the House of the Hearth. Due to certain events, I first killed Clairvy and then her mother. And this...
You were the one that killed Clairvy?
Patience now. Allow me to explain Clairvy's side of the story first. I'll start from the beginning. Clairvy was 6 years old when she was brought by her mother, Crucibina, to live in the House of the Hearth. From the outside, it seemed like a fairy tale. A thriving family made up of kind... Crucibina was the knave at that time, and the House of the Hearth was under her control. She was Clairvy's mother by blood. Clairvy was happy here, for a time. But she quickly realized that being part of this family...
Purgatory?
Exactly. The House of the Hearth takes in war orphans from all over Tevat. But as for how to raise them, Crucibina came up with a novel idea. She would teach the children to fight, force them to duel each other, and then crown as the king of the house. It's difficult to estimate the number of children who died or were maimed in the process. There's little I can say about the one. They would be handed over to the doctor to be experimented on, or sent away on dangerous missions. Nothing more than tools to be used and then discarded.
So those were the experiments Clairvy was talking about. But what you said that Clairvy was Crucibina's daughter, so if Clairvy tried to convince her to stop what she was doing, Crucibina...
Despite being Clairvy's mother, Crucibina cared little for her daughter. She forced Clairvy to join the House of the Hearth only as a means to demonstrate her own impartiality. Clairvy did try to convince her mother to change her ways, but it was to no avail. After her efforts failed, the only other option was to rise up and try to fight back. Of course, there was one exception. Someone Clairvy's age, who knew the truth about the House of the Hearth. Her name was Peruere.
Wait! The friend that Clairvy mentioned?
Friend, huh? I suppose we can... Clairvy was a cheerful and passionate person with a tenacious spirit. Peruere, on the other hand, was rather cold. Her cold-blooded nature allowed her to see through Crucibina's facade. Yet, it was also this cold-bloodedness that prevented her from acting against. Despite their differences, the two became fast friends, united by their knowledge of the truth. Clairvy told Peruere that she hoped to create a... There may have been a certain naivete to her ideas, but Clairvy proved her determination many times over. She tried countless times to run away. Even with her body racked with pain, she would still stand on her tiptoes and open the window at night. She and Peruere would look out at the moon together.
Oh no. What?
Her hopelessness resulted from a culmination of things. 10 years had passed. 10 years worth of failure after failure. She and Peruere weren't children anymore, but finding any chance to escape still seemed as hopeless. It was during this time that Peruere suggested a new plan. If escape... Clairvy rejected that proposal. She claimed that, as a famous harbinger, Crucibina possessed an unimaginable amount of power. Trying to kill her would have an incredible... Clairvy never gave another reason, but Peruere could see it written all over her face. Clairvy still thought of Crucibina as her mother. If she couldn't escape and fight back, then precisely. Death was the only way that she... It happened during a duel. When she arrived at the dueling ring that day, her partner turned out to be none other than Peruere. The very person that had stood by her side all those years. From that moment on, Peruere's journey was one written in flames. When the rain finally came and washed it all away, it was the very result she had predicted 10 years prior. Even then, she believed she would make it until the end. She wasn't surprised, but she was unsettled. And there was only one thing that could quell that sensation. Perhaps you two would like to take a guess.
Crucibini, you mean?
Correct. This is the place where Peruware killed her best friend. A mere year later, this is also the place where she fought the moment she acted. Any conception of what was right or wrong ceased to matter. It's one of the principal. Peruware won the battle, and became a harbinger herself. After which Her Majesty, the Tsaritsa, bestowed upon her a new name.
So the Perry Clairvy was talking about... It was you all along. You're Peruware.
I left that name behind long ago. I must say, hearing it now does bring back memories. After I defeated Crucibina, the moniker of Mother died with her. I chose to forego the title she called herself, and even chose to give up my own name. I rebuilt, and that is where the story ends.
Yeah. Based on what you just told us, Clairvy wasn't a little kid when she was killed. So the Clairvy we met... Was she really a spirit at all?
I suppose you could call her an illusion born of flame. Her existence is like ashes to a fire. You see, a certain power runs through my veins. It's not unlike a curse. My flames leave behind shadows of anything they consume. Of course, the chances of those shadows morphing into a sentient entity are exceedingly slim. Clairvy died when she was 16 years old, but what emerged from the flames was her 6-year-old self. Her appearance wasn't the only thing affected. Most of her memory is a mysterious thing indeed. Losing a portion of your memories will alter your sense of self.
No wonder Paimon got such a weird feeling when we were talking.
Perhaps I should put it this way. Clairvy is someone trapped in time. It may seem...
So if all of that is true, then you must have known about Clairvy for...
Indeed. She's a rather volatile and unstable entity. Sometimes she would look after the children, but